I've watched my review of Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island from 1998, directed by Jim Stenstrum, and of course the first of the direct-to-video Scooby-Doo films. So yes, we are back once again, ready to discuss another horror film on the channel. This time round, quite a special film, to discuss today, and I wonder, there will be a spoiler warning, for the discussion. We'll say that now. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first, and then come back to this video, and after that, we can go from there, and we can talk about this film in the comments, and all things Scooby-Doo. So yeah, with all that said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film, and got a few things to say about this one today, and it's been, we'll get straight into it, many years since I kind of watched this film, and finally, after quite a few years actually, I've been meaning to kind of, rewatch these films, some of these direct-to-video ones, especially the Scooby-Doo films. I finally got around to this one, and it's been, the last time I saw this film, I was probably around 10 or 11, and since then, haven't watched these films really, and there's no reason for that. It's just simply I didn't get around to rewatching them, and I wanted to kind of buy them on DVD and stuff like this. But yeah, finally got around to seeing this again, and last night, and watched it on DVD, and just what an experience this was to kind of revisit this one and just relive in a sense. There's specific childhood days of just watching this, the Cyber Chase, Alien Invaders, particularly these ones, on VHS, and I didn't see, after The Legend of the Vampire, that was the last one that I saw on VHS, and I haven't seen any of the Scooby-Doo films going forward, after, that one there in 2003, and I have great memories attached to just, seeing these, and going to, my bed and stuff, and just watching this on TV, putting in the VHS player, of course, and, I saw this one especially, this and the Cyber Chase were my most watched ones, and I just have great memories attached to this one in particular, and I was really scared of this as a kid, but for me, back then, these two in particular was it was the ultimate way to watch Scooby-Doo for me, and just all the gang here, and in their prime really in terms of how they're portrayed, and I just found it to be the most fun films, and this one really spoke to me, kind of all these ghouls and zombies, and just the actual setting of this, and just the adventure feeling of it, them going to, of course, New Orleans, and just the kind of the prologue, if you will, and the way in which it kind of progressed. I just found this to be such a great adventure film, as a kid, and just responding to all the kind of the scary stuff in this, and the lore, and all the pirates, and it was just a great time. And seeing it again, this is a great film for me. I absolutely loved it, and it was so great to revisit this from the get-go, from the opening, kind of title. It just hooks you in with that kind of prologue. A lot of the obviously Scooby-Doo films, they have these prologues that are kind of unrelated to the rest of the film. It's just kind of one of their mystery solving times, and then we get into the actual kind of main case of the film, if you will, a bit later, and this is no exception, and we have that kind of epic opening kind of intro. We have the classic theme kicking in, at one point, of course, that was just giving me chills. We have that kind of moment there, and Scooby and Shaggy are kind of just running, and they slide on the table, and all down the kind of railing there, and it's just an epic moment when they're getting chased, and once again loving that, and just seeing the first kind of bits is when the kind of they are breaking up, kind of going their separate ways for a bit, the gang, and Mystery Inc., and they kind of we have a few scenes. We have Daphne with her new show, and kind of ghost stories and all this kind of stuff, but she's kind of frustrated in that sense of not finding a real ghost story to be talking about, and of course she sets off to do that, and Fred, for her birthday, kind of gets the rest of the gang back together, and they all decide to go to discover kind of a real ghost story. I just love the way the plot gradually unfolds in this film, and we've got kind of quite a big scope to this, and that's purely because we have the first kind of 15 minutes of the film where it's kind of doing different things, investigating various ghost stories, and all this kind of stuff, and we have the prologue as well, and just seeing the montage as well with all the music kind of played over it. I think in this film, the songs and the actual score to the film, just so great, and I think at various moments in this film, I love the way the music is used over different kind of montage sequences, or characters getting chased in the film later on, a bit later on in the final act, and I think it's just epic in the way it's done, and once again it gave me these chills, and it's got shivers from this. It's so epic, and it's really just gets the blood pumping, and I loved all of the songs in this and the actual score to this is very atmospheric, very creepy. And as for the animation itself, I absolutely loved this film, the way it looked and the detail to this, and just the atmosphere that's created through the animation. It's got these bright moments, great contrast, real standout striking moments, especially at night time. But we have as well just, I think notable for being a darker film, really in tone. And, I think this is kind of the trend as well, for these direct-to-video ones, at least the first few, where it's more notable for being darker in tone, in the animation and also just the actual subject matter. It's just great for that. I love the darker tone and, in the animation. In Scooby-Doo as well, himself, is kind of responding to different animals, various animals throughout the film, including the cats, as, in quite an aggressive way. And, kind of, he's not, as friendly to the animals. Obviously, we know in the end, it's that great moment when we have the end credits scene where Scooby is kind of friendly with the cats again. I love that. It's really great, that kind of thing there, where that progresses. But at first he's quite aggressive and kind of chasing down the cats, the catfish as well. That was a great kind of moment and recurring gag in the film. And I love how it just it adds for a lot of the comedy and the tension in this film. Actually, when Scooby is instantly going onto the kind of main location there, and go through the gardens and all this and chasing the cats and destroying all the stuff there and kind of damaging things, and it does add for a lot of tension in the film and comedy, where constantly in the first act Scooby is chasing the cats and all this kind of stuff, and he's getting distracted, and then it does lead them to unraveling the different mysteries of the film. But I just love how it is more of a darker tone, and I think the look of this film is just so great, and the location, this is genuinely scary, this film actually, and I think just the creepy atmosphere as well adds to it. Just the lore of the film, we have this kind of Morgan Moonscar. That's the kind of thing they're talking about first, and we learn more and more over the course of the film. What actually happened. We have great flashbacks in the film as well in the final act, and we have actually kind of seeing Morgan Moonscar back in the day, and what actually kind of happened here. Him going onto the island, and kind of it is generally disturbing and very believable. Getting so invested in the lore of this film, and it's done in such a gradual way, a patient way, with the kind of world building. We have kind of very slow building, gradual kind of unraveling events, them going through on the kind of boat there, and with Jacques, and he's kind of showing them different things and leading them to the actual house out there, the mansion. And I think it's a great kind of patient build up to that, and we have the kind of the mystery, kind of going through in the bio out there, and I love this whole kind of intro to the actual main location, and then we have just great world building. We have Beau as well, who is kind of the gardener of this film. Later on, we do learn that he's a detective this whole time, and I love that twist. And in a general sense, I think the twists and turns of this film, and the way the film, the narrative unfolds and culminates in the end, in the final act, I think was absolutely amazing. I loved the whole kind of way in which Simone and Lena, the main characters there, and they're quite charming at first, but something is not quite, it's not all kind of as it seems, and there's something up, and there's a great sense of kind of world building here, and the foreboding and the actual. I think the way in which the setting is done, and just the characters, there's something quite, a little bit off about these characters, and everything's a bit too good to be true in that sense, and I think it's great because we have Scooby and Shaggy just kind of taking this all, face value, and they're enjoying all the food that they're getting given, and they're not really suspecting anything at first, in typical, Shaggy and Scooby fashion, and but the rest of the group, especially Velma, is kind of suspicious, and it's really interesting how we have the characters interacting, and I think just the final act, in the way the twist is, that Simone, is the actual main lead of the Werecats in this film, and the way in which we have the whole thing unfolding, just the reveals, the final act, I thought that was absolutely amazing, and just love this film so much for that, and just the final act for me does not disappoint. We have this whole kind of explosive moment where we have all the zombies coming out as well, and the pirates, and just quite a few, groups of people, from the past that have all kind of died on this island, and their spirits are not, rest kind of thing. And I think it's not just one group, it's not just these pirates. There's a lot going on in this, and a lot of people that have been affected by, this location in the past, and this whole kind of, curse that's actually brought upon as well by these two main characters, Simone and Lena, and through their kind of magic they've used from this magic to defeat their enemies. They have kind of latched a curse onto this island, and affected a lot of people in the past. And I think it's great to kind of see the variations. As well, we've got just simple tourists, zombies in this final act that are shown, and I think it's just so well done. The writing in this film, for the main plot, the main actual case, and all the ones before that, just works so well. And the final act with Jacques as well. All the characters really, I think. Pretty much all the characters, for the most part, I think is so well done, and Beau as well. It's great how he was a detective this whole time, and because he was kind of likable, first, but was just, a bit standoffish to the characters at times, and especially Scooby and Shaggy. But to learn that he was just a detective and he was on their side, throughout the whole film, that is just great, and because they do lose, of course, the footage, at one point in the film, the quicksand there, and it's just. It's such a kind of a film that unfolds so well, I think, and the final act is explosive. It's kind of really wacky at times, but it's just so well done. And the tone of this film is never kind of broken. We've got great use of comedy throughout, and the horror to this is just I think from the Scooby-Doo films that I've seen personally, this is definitely the scariest and the most kind of chilling. I think, and the designs of all the creatures and the pirates, Moonscar. Of course, Morgan Moonscar, in this film as well. I thought the design of him was just so well done, and it's just something that as a kid, I got really, really scared of, and seeing the werecats in the end as well, that was really, really scary to me, and especially Jacques, and the bit where he's chasing them, I just thought was so scary. Again, seeing it, and just throughout the entire film, you've got the perfect at times kind of world building, to this, and the actual chilling effect it has, the haunting nature. It was such a great film to watch again, at Halloween, and just really great to see, in a general sense, to kind of relive my childhood and see it again. And there's a reason why I gravitated towards this one in particular. It seems so much, and I just love this film really from start to finish. And I guess there's potentially a couple of things, in the final act, by the end of the film, that I would have liked to have been wrapped up a bit better. Personally, for example, Snakebite Scruggs. I think just him in particular as well. Who is voiced by Mark Hamill. In the film, and that's great. And I think just this character could have been potentially a bit more involved, in the final act. But then again, it's nice that he was kind of this separate character. But just the way he was in the first act, quite present and all this, it could have been quite cool. Potentially if he and his kind of pet, would have just. I think being a bit more involved in the final act, potentially with the action and all this kind of stuff, that would have been quite cool. And a couple of bits here and there, throughout the film that I really enjoyed. That I think I was thinking would have been wrapped up off memory in the final act. But regardless of that, that's really my only thing with the film. In terms of things that I would have liked to have seen, really from start to finish, this one is just great. I think the voice acting across the board, even Adrienne Barbeau as well, as the kind of main villain of the film, Simone, is just great in this film, and just the entire cast, Shaggy, Scooby, Fred, Velma and Daphne, and especially they're just so well, voice acted, and I think the interactions between them, it's just really for me personally, the classic, from what I've seen, rendition of the gang, the Mystery Inc. gang, and their interactions. They're showcasing them individually as characters, and how they're so likable and kind of fun to see, but also as a group. And I like how we do have in some of the Scooby-Doo films the kind of splitting up and them getting back together as well at one point. And I love how we have that at the beginning. It adds a bit of complexity to this one, and I just think in a nutshell, really, this one is, for me, what I've seen, the best display of the Mystery Inc. gang in that sense. For me, this is a Scooby-Doo film that really gets everything right, and I think the animation, the characters, the comedy in this film, and the actual horror elements, and the music as well. You've got a great score to this. It kind of builds the sense of dread and mystery, and the sense of wonder to this film. In a general sense, I think is remarkable at times, and even though it's just a really funny film at times, it doesn't take away from the actual taking the film seriously and getting into the lore and the backstory of this, and just feeling a sense of dread and a chilling effect to the main location, and the lore to this, and how it has being haunted, and I think the songs in this film as well. Sky Cycle, it's Terror Time Again, and we've got The Ghost is Here. Those two songs in particular, I absolutely loved, and just when they're played over the film, just epic stuff, especially later on in the film with the kind of main sequence of all the zombies chasing the characters, and them kind of splitting up and getting chased individually. It's just epic. Love these songs so much. They're kind of just fun 90s rock songs, but also the way they're used. It's just it really heightens the kind of the thrills and the epic nature of this. And every time I kind of saw these parts as a kid, I got this feeling as well. And now I can kind of describe it. It really is the kind of epic way in which it's edited over the rest of the film, and when the characters are being chased, and really amping up the music there, and these songs, and I just think it really is a great soundtrack overall, and it really elevates the film certainly. And just as I say, the characters and the way Mystery Inc. especially interact, but also just loads of the side characters, especially Beau, really enjoyed in this film, and just characters that charming at first, like Jack, kind of once again being quite saddened by this character actually being one of the villains of the film. It's Werecat, and it's just a really interesting backstory to the film and the way it's gradually kind of unraveling over the film. When we have Velma as well scratching off the kind of wall there, and we learn that some of the ship from pirate ships it's kind of being used for the building of the house. But yeah, it's really cool, that moment as well. As a kid, it really got to me, and seeing Morgan Moonsky, his ghost, on the tape there, as a kid, when they're kind of just pointing him out, and they're going, look, and it's really scary, that bit there. And as a kid, it really freaks me out seeing this kind of ghost, in such an overt way, on the tape, and just and not showing up elsewhere. It really freaked me out. But yeah, just the whole flow of the film, the gradual nature of it, and the kind of final act, for me, not disappointing. I love how Beau came along at the end, and definitely said, obviously you can go onto my show and all this kind of stuff, and that was really cool there. And I think most of the things are wrapped up so well. Scooby as well, the way it ends on him with the cats and all this kind of stuff, and of course the just the moment there, and then it does lead into the end credits scene as well, where we have that kind of he's nice to the cats at that point there, and he's kind of friends with them. So it's just everything in this film really wrapped up so well, and I think my favourite parts probably in the middle of the film, some of the first act, but then again, some of my favourite moments, in the final act, and I just think, the entire film I love, and it's just a great, kind of comedy horror film, and especially so great to watch this close to Halloween. It's just, I'm so glad that I did see it again during this month. It's just so creepy and atmospheric, and just the setting, as I've said, it's just so great, and I love the entire way in which we're introduced to the setting, and the way that we build on this, and go through the actual their home, and the different locations within the home, and it's just all the areas in this, the rooms, and just the gardens, and the way we've got this history built underneath it, in that sense as well. It's just everything about this, so great, and I think just the comedy, the characters, and all these different moments where we have Scooby and Shaggy, the kind of charm of that. It's just, I really do love them elements. As I say, not everything in this film is comes together exactly in the way that I would have liked, and some things were kind of left, you could say, here and there. But I think for the most part, I do, I think it came together in the way I wanted it to, and I think this film, just is definitely a great one, and I think it's just, as a Scooby-Doo film, from what I remember, it's in many ways the defining and ultimate version of these characters. What makes Scooby-Doo great, I think, and the mystery and the comedy as well, to this, and just I think seeing this as a kid, it was just so great. I saw it many times, and really everything came back to me. I remembered really every single scene of this film, and it was really great. Blast to kind of watch this again, and I think this one is a great one. It's just the animation to this, the music, as I've said, the characters, the actual main plot of this, and just the way in which the horror elements done, and they unfold over the course of the film. Very scary, very frightening, and really the sense of wonder to this, is great, and it has an emotional core as well to the actual backstory and the way it kind of has resolve in the end. So yeah, I love this film, and overall, my rating for this one is a 91%. So extremely high score from me. That's just my honest opinion. I do love this film, and I think just I had a great time with this, and taking everything into account throughout the entire film, of my personal enjoyment of this, I had to give this a 91%, and just what a film to watch, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts, of course, in the comments. I do look forward to discussing different Scooby-Doo films in the future and TV series, and it'd be really, really cool to do that on the channel, and I do have great memories attached, not just to this, but different parts of the show as well, and various films, in the franchise. So it'd be really cool in the future to discuss, a lot of Scooby-Doo stuff on the channel. That'd be really cool. And for today, we will discuss this film and all things Scooby-Doo in the comments, and of course, celebrate the Halloween period. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.